Hello, everybody. It's Michael Jacob with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. We have David Sproul with us today, and his bio is he was born and raised in Boulder, Colorado. Visited there with Gaia. It's a great place, beautiful. I started playing. He started playing guitar at age 5. Wow, very early on, and really got into it deeply when he was 12. Always grew up playing music with his brother. Eventually started a band called Rose Hill Drive. Started touring when it was around 17, and was fortunate enough to open up with, wow, some incredible names: Aerosmith, Van Halen, The Who's, the Stone Age, Black Crowes, many others. Wow, unbelievable. Dream come true, definitely. We They toured around the USA and Europe, made a few records. The band never really broke out, but had incredible experiences, and then moved on. He does still does it today. So incredible information. The latest that he's doing is he's got this idea called PumpTracks. It rides a fine line between a new way for artists to get their music out and potentially be profitable with it, as well as giving meme coin and crypto traders something new and meaningful to trade with. So, Daniel, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic little journey here. So what I just read that you've been doing this since you were 5. Wow, that's incredible. So obviously you had some kind of talent. It wasn't just you just picked up a guitar and played. How did it work out for you?
Well, I started playing when I was young. When I was 5, my father played a lot, and I took interest to it. And kind of trying to learn. There's frustrations with trying to learn how to play an instrument, of course. But when I was 12, I really started to take it seriously, and got my first electric guitar. I'll never forget it, the Fender Stratocaster, and continued to play with my brother, and formed a band and worked on it really hard. And it provided some fantastic opportunities and experiences. Before we knew it, we were touring, and opening up for those bands that you mentioned. Lots of miles in the van. I think we probably racked up $500,000, just touring in the van and trailer. Experiences that I really cherish today. During the time, there's the work, and there's the doubt, and there's the grind. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. I never actually graduated high school. I knew that I wanted to play the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So, got my GED, and I, just took it from there. Absolutely love music, love the guitar. I still play today. Mostly composition work for media and commercials. But yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing.
Yeah, amazing. So I'm going to play a couple of we'll start with the Ryan Bingham clip you sent me,
Oh, cool.
and share that, and let people see, the kind of performances that you've been about. And wow, I mean, you're widespread. I mean, you do everything. It's pretty incredible. Your breadth. Yeah. So let's play a little piece of this.
He's such a cool guy. That was fun times.
That must have been.
Yeah. The guitar is very heavy. That's Nate Barnes on the drums. He was in Rose Hill Drive with us. He's a fantastic drummer.
So very very creative work, and there's a few other ones that we'll go over to as well. So here's Elephant Revival. I liked all these clips. It's beautiful. Well done. Any comments you got about some of these bands?
Oh, sure. I've been in several different bands. This was the latest one that I was in. I'm no longer playing with them. But this was a bigger show at the Mission Ballroom in Denver, and the head of the band, Bonnie, who's just a living angel. She called me one day and she was like, "Hey, do you think we could maybe cover Schism by Tool?" And I was like, I sure, let's do it. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, so if you know that song, the only 4/4 typical measure of music is at the very end. It's very very complicated, and super cool.
Mm.
So I dug in and I learned the parts and taught the band, and I think it turned out really well. She actually had this amazing idea of bringing in a drum line to assist on the big parts. But yeah, it was really ambitious, and I'm so glad that she brought it to the table because it worked out really well.
Yeah, you can tell this is quite artistic rendering here. So let's listen to a little bit piece of this.
Cause I watched them fall away, smoldering from the metal, differing. Pure intention juxtaposed will set two lovers' souls in motion, disintegrating as it goes, testing out communication. Fuel the fire, the spark.
So that must be, with the crowd like that. What does that feel like when you're up there playing like that, and you got a huge crowd that's loving your music?
Oh, there's nothing like it, really. It's it, it's been kind of a lifetime of figuring out how to interpret it.
Mhm.
I appreciate that question. I changed from nerves and trying to prove something to really just embracing the fact that you have the ability to channel and give to the people that come. It's reciprocal, and it's so much of the time in music and anything where somebody can get popular or famous, it can get misinterpreted and abused. And so that was something that I always questioned. Um, I feel fortunate to have come to the point where I don't get nervous anymore, which is great because
Yeah.
that your fingers don't quite work the same way when you're nervous. And just appreciation.
Yeah, that sounds, that's what everybody, everything. I think everybody has a dream of, like, they'd love to have been a musician at some point. I did, it's like, but that wasn't my call. And I went into the SEAL teams, and life went on. But I always appreciated all those guys, and I would know people over the years. There was times where I did security around bands and so forth. I remember when I was 18, I saw Van Halen, and some of those guys, and I was like, God, I just love to be around some of those guys. And then I was so, and they're just like us, just cool
Sure.
dudes, having a good time, doing their thing,
Absolutely.
and making some good money, partying, whatever.
Mhm.
So, how was it, being around all those, high end groups, the Who and Aerosmith and all those guys?
Sure. Yeah. There's variance, right? I would say Pete Townsend is one of the most phenomenal human beings.
Hmm.
He, the way he commands respect, but gently. Um, be sure you have something to say that's articulate, you know, because he's a very cerebral person, but also very creative and uh, thought-provoking conversations. When he looks at you with those blue eyes, it goes straight into your soul.
Hmm.
Not everybody's like that, but at the same time, just experiencing the differences and uh, the guys from Van Halen were incredibly kind,
Oh, yeah.
very welcoming, and I mean, I cried the day Eddie died.
Hmm.
He changed guitar.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful work, yeah. And
Yeah.
obviously someone like you would appreciate that. Sammy Hagar. So I was, up close with Sammy Hagar. I got to talk to him a little bit. Again, doing some, security for him and his son. They played, together. So that must have been pretty cool for him to do that with his son. But I've always loved his music and always been inspired by it. I Can't Drive 55 was like my theme every time. I was driving a Pinto, of course, at the time, but I was like, so, and then I moved up to a Mustang, and so then I got a little bit more speed. But it was, the artistic stuff is just amazing. Now, you've been around all these people. There's all these controversies about the level of music. Is it going to the dark side? Is it, from your music and from talking to you, you're obviously, of the light and you're on that side. But you I know there's some dark aspects to that. How when you encounter that, what was it like for you?
It's palatable. Yeah.
Mhm.
And thankfully, those experiences were few and far between.
Excellent.
But yeah, it's palatable. I mean, with that type of, I guess you could say, power and responsibility, you got to treat it the right way.
Hmm.
And some people choose not to. Um, however, it's something that it's greater than us, and I think that is a point to be respected when you start to get recognition from your music. It's not you, right? It's channeling through you. That's my belief.
Beautiful. Yeah. So there's different frequencies and stuff like that. Some people are making comments in the chat about the 432 frequency.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on those frequencies and how sometimes they manipulate those frequencies? And because I've listened to music from, I remember this one black pastor. He was talking about the frequencies of
Mhm.
music, and he showed this one black group, and they were just phenomenal. I was like, I looked at them; they're well dressed, they're handsome guys, and I was just like, God, these guys are amazing. And he says, now watch this. I'm going to change the frequency just a little bit, and he changed the frequency, and I was like, oh, those guys suck. What the heck, and just from the frequency. It was, and wow, what an incredible thing. So what are your thoughts on the the frequencies?
Sure. I think it's a fascinating concept.
Yeah,
We're vibrational beings, right?
yeah.
We're antennas of vibration, and there's the rumor, it's not true, but that the Nazis developed the 440 frequency as like the standard of
Mhm.
tuning, and that it should be 432. I don't know enough about it to speak about the actual historical relevance of all that.
Mhm.
Um, however, I look forward to digging in more into those resonant frequencies and what it means. If you, a lot of times we would play and tune a half step down, and so you're not in 440 anymore. And it sounds different. It feels different. I wouldn't say that it's better or worse.
Mhm.
When you do feel something, though, that's the truth. When it's resonating with you and your frequency or the frequencies around you, it's something to pay attention to. It's important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And obviously, your music is paying attention to it because I'm looking at listening to some of your work, and it's phenomenal. Let's listen to another piece. Hardworking Americans. I'm an old school rock and roller. I love the hardcore stuff. You
Sure.
got a little bit of that in there, and then you got that very artistic piece that we played, and a little bit of country, little twang going on in there. But this is the kind of stuff that really resonates with me, and I really appreciate people that can play like this.
I love it.
Yeah, making it sing. I mean, I got chills just listening to it.
Oh, thanks. That's awesome. I love
Yeah,
it.
good stuff. Good stuff. So, inspiration. People listen to music like this, they're inspired, they love it, and you've been doing that for quite some time. I know you're getting ready to take your children out. You're homeschooling, so you're really dedicated, and you're going to travel and stuff and so forth. Fantastic.
Thank
Uh,
you.
how you're going to obviously going to keep up with your music, or you're going to play while you're on the road?
Yeah, I mean, there will be a shift. I'm no longer playing in an active band, and I'm okay with that right now. I want to open up to new possibilities. My kids are very into music, and my eldest daughter is picking up the guitar very quickly.
Ah,
She sings like an angel. It's like hard to describe what that does to my heart. So my goal is to embrace that and make music together as a family right now. It's probably the best experience in music that I've had, is being able to play with her. My middle daughter is picking up the drums, and natural talent as well. And my son, who's the youngest, is very interested in music too. He's picked up the ukulele and started strumming, and it's like, how did you do that, man? That's amazing.
that's
So
cool.
it's exciting.
Yeah, you have your own little band there. That's pretty fun.
Totally.
You like the Partridge Family. That's pretty cool.
Actually, out of the RV, traveling all across the country.
Exactly. Yeah. Just need a old school bus or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're into and this is the most exciting thing. I mean, all that's exciting. Everything you've done is obviously incredibly exciting. You got probably, like, we could talk for hours about some of the experiences you've had. But the one thing that you do music, and you've done music for written music, and your music's used in a lot of different work, and you're probably getting resources from that. Is that correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hmm. And so now you're moving into a new aspect, PumpTracks.
Yeah.
And that sounds very exciting. Tell us a little bit about how that works.
Sure. Well, it's unique, and it's an idea that blends two worlds together that hasn't totally been done yet. NFTs are very popular, right? And it's not totally the same thing. So I've been interested in blockchain technology and crypto since it's come out. And I had this idea. I tried my hand at trading meme coins. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And the attraction is the upside. You can see these people making a lot of money. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna give that a shot. I don't have the skill to do that. The skill level that has developed in that world is really high. It might seem ridiculous, and meme coins in general can appear to be ridiculous. There are some very actually really great projects that are occurring in the space. However, it's a challenging place to trade. It's very fast paced and very volatile. And I had this idea after, giving it a shot, where it's like, well, what if there was something that was a little more meaningful that people could latch onto quickly? What if there, instead of a meme coin, it's a song? And what this does in my mind is it brings something fresh to the traders in the space. It brings something that is, undeniably there. You don't have to do a bunch of research to see if the project is legitimate. You have to do a little bit, right? Make sure that the song that somebody launches is actually from them, and that they have the intention of you seeing it. But it's the idea is not necessarily artist focused, and it's not necessarily trader focused. I'm trying to ride that line there where it attracts both. And it's a baby idea right now. There's not many. Actually, the only songs on the site right now are ones that I have put on there for testing or to show proof of concept.
Gotcha. So ultimately, this is fantastic. This is something that all artists could benefit from.
Sure.
Instead of like going through the music industry, which is a culprit for stealing talent and taking advantage of talent, you could create your own tracks and tie it into crypto, and then you're gonna directly benefit from that. And then if someone has your track, they could trade it and benefit from it again as well. So it's like you said, like an NFT. Tell us a little bit how that works.
Sure. So instead of an NFT, which is more of like a collectible, or an artist will create an NFT collection, and there's either scarcity, which is enticing for the fans to buy, and that creates value. This is more of like commoditizing your song. It's more of like a stock, and it works the same way Pump.fun works, which is hands down the most popular meme coin launching pad that there is. We use the Radium protocol, which essentially is just the ability to create a bonding curve. And then after, I can explain that in more depth, but after the bonding curve reaches migration, then it turns into a real liquidity pool where your track or token is traded against Solana, almost like Forex. It's a trading pair. Mm-hmm. Now, the benefit is if you were to launch a song and it gets traction, you make royalties off of trading fees. So every time the song is traded, whether it's up or down, you make a percentage of that. After the bonding curve is hit, that percentage changes a little bit because it turns into a real Radium liquidity pool, and they have metrics for how that works. Essentially, if your song trades forever, then you make royalties forever.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean that theoretically, coins don't totally trade forever, and there's also no guarantee that you will make money doing this. If you launch a coin and you're not pumping it or trying to get people involved in it, then it probably won't do anything. But it's not really a loss at all. The cost of entry to launch a song is 0.05 Sol, which at this point is like $4, because crypto's taking a dive right now. Which it does, and that's okay. It'll come back.
Yeah.
You now have your song, regardless of if it's traded, it's on our website, and it can be played. There's a fantastic player function for it, and you can share it immediately. You don't have to wait weeks for you know, an aggregate company to put your song onto Spotify and then hope that you get 10,000 plays. You know, 10,000 plays is going to get you about $40.
Wow.
You know, if you get $10,000 in trading volume, which if people know the space, that can happen in 5 seconds. You'd make $50. You know, if you go to $100,000 in trading volume, you'd make $500. And those numbers sound big, but in the trading space, it's not really that much, because you know, if it hits, you know, and traders see, oh, hey, this is cool, this is legitimate. You make the money instantaneously, and your exposure is there right away. So I'm hoping to kind of change. Change the space of trading is a difficult, tall mountain. I'm providing something that is fresh for traders. Sure, it could be abused, but it's coming from honesty, and it's coming from something where it's real. Music is forever, regardless. When you upload a song to PumpTracks, we put it on the Solana blockchain, so it's literally there forever. If the internet exists, your music is on the Solana blockchain for good. You know, which is appealing to me. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So if an artist had, you know, they wanted to, do they work with you, or is this just a concept that anybody could use? How's this work?
Oh, anybody can use it. You can put a song and have it minted into a Solana based token within under a minute. You know, if you have your assets ready to, you know, upload your art, you can see, you know, below the screen that's loading, I uploaded a song yesterday, you know, just to show it's like, hey, this is here, this works. And you know, the one below that is a song I made with my daughter. I love that song.
Oh, cool. Let's play it.
So it's okay. So you click on this, and this takes you to the trading page. So this is the actual, you know, you don't have a wallet connected, which is fine. If you did, you could actually swap the token here, but you can also trade it on any major, or actually not major, any decentralized exchange at this point. It is available to trade. It's there instantaneously.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
See you flying. Was it really meant to be? In the falling fire, you get higher. Somebody just hold on to me. See your halo, colors of the rainbow. Didn't want to let you go. Now you're gone.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
So if someone was interested in that, and then they could purchase it.
Yeah, they can. The streaming is free, which is, you know, a benefit to people who want to share their music. So even if your token isn't trading, it's there. You can share it with whoever you want to.
Okay.
And there's also the player function on that website that I'm, you know, kind of basing off of major music players. You can play it on your phone. It's there for the taking. When it comes to coin trading, the thing that would need to be understood is that you got to be ready, right? So if I were to trade a token or mint a token right now for a song, I would want to make sure that I'm ready to post it on X, that I made the token and post the contract address so people see that it was me. Ideally, you even have a community formed for your sound. You know, people can join communities on X. It's not strictly X though. X is gigantic when it comes to crypto. You know, they call it CT for crypto Twitter. But you could do it, you know, there's when you upload a song, you have the opportunity to either do it, throw your X social on there, your Instagram, or your TikTok. And that's how people can see that, you know, it's you. The biggest thing is that you show that you minted the song. For a starting artist right now who doesn't have a very much of a following, it probably won't get traction. I'm working on getting the site seen, and for people to realize that it's legitimate. My hope is to get either a large person in the crypto space or somebody who's big in music to use it, so people can be like, okay, cool, like
Legit,
this is legit. We're gonna start watching what's coming out of this platform now. That's my hope.
Yeah, that's going to happen because this is a great concept. Every artist, I think, would want to jump in on this because, like we were talking about, if you could do this with books, and you probably could do it with anything, right?
You can, and that's the coolest part about the decentralized space and decentralized finance in general. It's been around for a while. However, I still feel like it needs to catch on even more. It's our opportunity to revolutionize freedom through money and to stop being controlled.
Right.
I love that. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, Daniel, that is incredible. So what other things do you see coming down the road as far as like because like you in the email you sent, you're like AI is basically taking over.
Sure.
So it's artists it's going to be very hard for artists going forward, but this could help generate income, could help save artists and so forth. What do you see with the AI coming in?
I was pretty I had fear about AI and it taking jobs away. I think that you can relate it to the tech boom that happened, years ago. There was a lot of fear around that. I think what would be beneficial is to embrace the technology and see how you can work with it and how it can work for you. I'm not a software developer. When I started this concept, I was literally asking Grok, which is an incredible AI tool. I was asking Grok how to code this and copying and pasting code and doing trial and error. And all of a sudden, Claude came out. Have you heard of Claude?
Mm-mm.
Claude is absolutely insane. It's basically an extension for your coding platform. So you can load it into Visual Code, Visual Studio Code, and just prompt what you want it to do. And say you had an idea for a website or a concept, you could be live with a functional program within hours. It increased my productivity on trying to make this product by 20 or 30x immediately. And I rode that wave of like, I tried AI coding programs when they were first coming out, and they create this bloated code that's unusable. And then all of a sudden, the curve started to exponentially increase, and it is daily right now. What's occurring in the space right now is absolutely incredible. And I encourage people who are interested to watch what's happening, with Grok Imagine, with what Elon Musk is doing is incredible. With Claude Bot, they had to change the name now to Moltbot, I think, but it's kind of wild. And it's also, we got to be careful because, we have to, there's certain things that probably should be regulated, even though I can't stand regulation. It's a new territory, and just paying attention to it, I think, is fascinating.
There's somebody that posted in here. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Raytheon Enoch AI. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't, but I will check that out.
Yeah, cool. So there's lots of new technologies coming in, and how do you see technology being utilized by the music industry itself, AI and so forth?
Sure. So I think that's a really interesting space right now. Suno is the leader of AI music creation. What it's doing is fascinating. The sonic quality struggles. And that's where like you can do video generation using Grok Imagine or you know, a multitude of different platforms, and it's really good. We're going to see AI movies and AI video games within a year, I would say.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
which is
Old
crazy.
stars come back to life. It'll be crazy
I
going forward.
wonder if Hollywood people are going to have to sell the rights to their likeness or something. You know, I just it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, that's a very interesting idea. That would be some way that they could profit from. Of course, they reserve the rights for their image being utilized in certain films and so forth. They could probably make it just like when we back in the day when they had the cartoons for Disney and so forth, and then they would have the voiceover from stars and so forth. They got compensated for that. It should
Oh,
be the
sure.
same way with an artist that has their music or a model that's their likeness is used, all kind of crazy stuff. So it will be interesting. Some people are looking at it, oh, that's going to be stolen, but it can be captured, kind of like what you're talking about,
Sure.
so that you benefit from it.
Yeah, ideally that would happen. I mean, it's changing the space so rapidly, uh,
Mhm.
and when it comes to music AI generation, there's a long way to go. If you go onto Suno and you want to make a rock and roll track or something like that, it just doesn't sound great. I think they're doing a fantastic job with what they're doing. I'm not
Right.
trying to knock it. If you make a hip hop song that's minimal, has maybe a synth and a bass line with a kick, it actually sounds really good.
Mhm.
Uh, for me, being in music for so long, I really appreciate sonic quality and depth, and when you can almost feel like you can reach in and grab the song. AI is not doing that yet. I think that it's only a matter of time, and of course it threatens my job, but I'm not going to think about it like that anymore. I choose to think about it as how can I use this?
Right.
I'm in a group on X that is full of some of the most creative people I've met, even though met in cyber world, and how they're utilizing these tools expands my mind every day, and I'm really grateful for that because it's like,
Mhm.
oh, this is actually paving way to new skill and new forms of art, and we can't
Oh, cool.
I think that it is unwise to shun something like that.
Yeah. I think ultimately, like for yourself, the musical talent and the creativity, they're not going to be able to, replicate that at least at this point. So that's where we're kind of safe. They're not going to be able to come in and create on the level that we do. So what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. We could do the Pepsi challenge to any music, and I can tell you which one's AI, and whether that's good or bad. I'm not going to judge it. But it definitely, there's improvement with sonics, which is kind of interesting to me because it's like how can you make a video look completely real and convincing, but the music isn't quite there yet. I guess
Yeah.
rhythmically it needs to improve.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So Daniel, I have your link in the description box, but if people want to contact you about this information, how could they do that?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to the pumptracks.fun website, and my X handle is there. If you're on X, you can go to PumpTracks Fun, capital P and then capital Fun at the end. Based audio is also, that's kind of my main social uh, handle there. So yeah, feel free to direct message. I check all the time, and I'm open. I'm open for collaborations, suggestions, anything really. I'm excited about this, and I want to see people use it.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody that's listening, just jump on over there and follow. That's pretty easy. You, I think we're gonna see some good things here, Daniel, and I'd love to have you back on when something kicks for you. Gosh, when you're on the road with your children, man, if you guys did some kind of musical thing and video or whatever, I'd love to post it.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, we definitely will. And, I would be completely honored to come back and talk more. That sounds
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. Yeah. I think what's beautiful about what you're doing is they've taken a lot of art and music out of the schools. I remember, when I grew up, it was like every every week you're doing something. I was in the choir. I played the flute and
Yeah.
different stuff. But we were always involved with art, and that's but I guess now it's kind of like pretty much taking it out.
Yeah, I have a lot of feelings and opinions about that.
I
And
bet. Yeah.
it's a shame. My kids, when they were in public school last year and leading up to that, um, that was the only class they would complain about was music. And it's like, what? Seriously? And it needs attention because it's very important. And if we want a culture that has the depth, we have to have art and music. That is a must.
I agree. I agree. And that's so beautiful that you're taking your children and you're totally exposing them to music, and so that creativity. Who knows? They might not be the musician of the future, but that creativity that comes through, which I appreciate. Having gone through a lot of music in the past, uh, comes out in other ways. So opening those doorways to creativity is fantastic. So great job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, Daniel. Thanks so much for coming on. And like I said, I look forward to seeing your work in the future and what you're up to, and we'll keep in touch.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.
All right.